Hello, everyone. Welcome to our OPEN.Ed. So loud. um, this afternoon, we are feeling very honored because we have three guests from a friend school who will share with us their experience in their inclusion program at school, which amazes us every time we learn more about their program. It's a very differentiated program here in Brazil, and that encouraged us to invite them to share a little bit of that with us, because we are also starting our path in this diversity and inclusion conversation. So I would like to thank our guests very much for being here, and I'll introduce them. This is my minha cola. We have Amaral Cunha with us. He just shared that he was a doctor in a previous life, a teacher, and currently he is the headmaster of Eleva School in Rio de Janeiro. Laís Fontenelle, she's the psychologist of Eleva School in Rio de Janeiro. She works with their learning support department, with families, faculty, and students. And Clarissa, she is a professor, a teacher for primary in Escola Eleva, and she also leads the diversity committee at Eleva School. And to mediate this conversation, we have our dear teachers here, Thaisa and Renata. I hope you all enjoy and learn as much as we have, so we can continue this conversation here at our school. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you all enjoy the conversation. And now, Ms. Barros.
Ms. Barros, you already know, right? So welcome, everybody. I'm just gonna introduce our agenda for today. Our guests will briefly introduce themselves one by one. We have some very interesting questions for them. And then by the end, we're gonna open for questions from the audience, which you'll be able to ask through this QR code or this website. So make sure to get that in your device before we move on to the next slide. We will be following your questions here and selecting the ones that we're going to ask at the end of the presentation. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to start. We are going to start with Amaral.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. I think what we will be doing now is have a short presentation, each one of us, of who we are, why we are here, give you an idea of our project. We are only 1.5 years older than you guys. We are only 3 years old as a school, Escola Eleva. And I would like to start introducing myself. As they said, my name is Amaral. I've been in the area of education for many years, more than some of you have of age, which is especially Jack that is back there. And it's great to see so many faces that I know that I've worked with. I feel at home already. And I was at Graded for 15 years, and then in Rio for 3. I say that I karaoke 3 years ago. I'm giving 2 kisses already, which shows that I have completely engaged in the culture of Rio. But I would like to tell you a little bit about our school. And the idea is that we walk you through how everything started in the school and why we decided to embrace diversity, inclusion as one of the pillars of our school. So I have a short presentation. Thank you so much. So as I said, I'm the director of Escola Eleva, and this is how we define ourselves. We are a full-day bilingual Brazilian school. And see that I emphasize the word Brazilian because we wanted to have a school that would focus on all of the issues, all of the challenges that we have as a country. And when we start talking about challenges, I think one of the first exercises that we did as a school is if we are building a school, what are the challenges that we have ahead of us? And we basically identified 4 of these challenges. We said the first challenge is how we would deal with globalization. And of course, the very first answer to that is being bilingual, truly bilingual, fully bilingual. And then we say, besides globalization, we are also dealing with a world of automatization of everything. Technology is everywhere. So how we would bring technology to our classroom. And then yet the third challenge was, with all of that, we have the challenge of dealing with information, the amount of information that is available, how to prepare the students for that. But even with all of the technology, all of the information, all of the globalization that we've been dealing with, there is one problem that grows every day. That is the problem of desigualdade, the problem of dealing with a world that more and more is not equal, is not, all of the advances of science and everything is not making our planet more equal. It's going on the other way around. Then we decided that to deal with that, we would, there we go. We wanted to have a mission that is to create a generation of leaders that would contribute to make a difference in their lives and contribute to a better world. And once we presented our mission, the word leaders created a lot of discomfort with our parents. And we said, when we talk about leaders, we don't talk about being the leader of a company, being the leader of an institution, but being a leader of decisions that you make in your life, being a leader of your future, being a leader of how you deal with your life. And in order to do that, we said that we would focus on basically these values. And the values of our school are kindness, responsibility, enthusiasm, excellence, and respect. But we said we can't only have this on the wall. We can't have this only written in our papers. How can we, on a daily basis, show kindness, show social responsibility, enthusiasm, excellence, and respect? And from the beginning, we said, in a country where 51% of the population is Black, I went to school in Brazil, private schools, and I can't name one Black friend that I've had. So we have a huge challenge ahead of us. And that challenge was established by the board, by my leaders that said, ideally, we would love to have a school in which we would get to close to 30% of our school population of Black kids. And we said it in day 1. More than that, we cannot have a school that is going to change the world and only the elite would have access to that. How are we going to create an aggressive scholarship program? And then the goal that was given to me by my bosses was that I would have 20% of our school of scholarship kids, in which 10% would be as part of our budget. We would cover for 10%, but I would have the challenge of getting groups of investors, parents, even my faculty that would sponsor the other 10%. And for every single real that I would sponsor, that I would get someone to sponsor, we would do a match. So the other 10% that we have in our school, we match every single nickel that we get from parents, from investors. And we said we need to leave it on our everyday. So we decided that our pillars should also reflect that. And our three pillars are academic excellence, socio-emotional development, that we call LIVE, Laboratório de Inteligência de Vida, and global citizenship. How can we be a global citizen if we are not focusing on the challenges that we have in a society like ours? And it's very interesting because although we had all of these in mind, when we start doing this presentation to new parents, and right there in my auditorium, I had Lázaro Ramos, who was here this morning, sitting down. He came to me at the end of my presentation and said, "Great, Amaral, but let's start doing it from day one. You don't have one single black kid in your presentation." And I said, "Wow, yeah." And he said, "You did not mention in your presentation any of the programs that you're bringing to the school." So I would like to call your attention that our three pillars are being held by a black hand. And it is a decision that we as a school make in absolutely every single thing that we do to bear in mind all of that. So, and then we said, all right, so how can we create a scholarship program that would not be a problem at the end of the day? Because my concern from my previous experiences were that we would give kids scholarship, tuition, but then I saw some of the problems that they dealt with living in a school, working in a school, being in a school that is very elite focused. So we sat together and we said, if we want to do it well, we need to create a program. And we started with an internal program that we call Bolsa Eleva. And what is Bolsa Eleva? It's a bolsa that is 100% for the kids that we identified. We have a process that I will show you in a minute. That bolsa, that scholarship doesn't come only with tuition. It's tuition, computer, we are a one-to-one school. It comes also with uniform, transport, but more than that, internet at home, pocket money for all of the social activities that these kids will need to do with the other kids, and more than that, support for the families. So I understood in the very first year that I had to have a psychology team only to work with the scholarship kids. And we have nowadays 3 psychologists that they do nothing else but work with the families and the scholarship kids. Every family that was selected in this process knew that they would have to meet with this team at least twice a semester. And they come to school and we give support and we talk to the kids and so on. And last year, we started in 2017 with 35 kids in our scholarship program. We went from 350 students in 2017 to 1,070 students in 2018, which was a huge, crazy growth. But I'm happy to say that with that, we also went to 65 scholarship kids. This year, we have 74, and we are going to 82 next year. And last year, we felt the need of creating an association that would help us with the scholarship kids. And that's when we created Janelas Abertas. Janelas Abertas is not part of Escola Eleva directly. It is an association. Okay, it's a non-profitable association that through that association, we make the selection of these students. The association pays to the school the tuition of the extra ones, and the association is the one that do all of the fund crowding to help with the kids that goes beyond the 10% of the school. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this association and how it works. First of all, we wanted to look for kids of high potential, academically speaking. We wanted to give the opportunity to kids who were who had the potential to go much further in their lives. And we talked a lot about what is academic excellence. How are we going to select these kids? We didn't want academic excellence to be only in the area of math, science, Portuguese, and so on. So we decided that academic excellence would come in any of the areas. Could be sports, arts, a kid that would have an eye for technology, someone who would engage other kids, and that is how we start doing the selection. First, kids that would bring that. The second is the first two are essential, that the families would together have a renda of no more than 5,000 reais. That is the maximum to be part of the program. Besides that, we wanted to make sure that they would have the opportunity of good education, and also we would like to create leaders that would understand the importance of education. But then with all of these in mind, we said we need more. And we understood immediately in the process that we would also have to have families that would be engaged in the program. You cannot select a kid. Usually these kids live far from the school, although we identified some communities where we put our focus. But we said if the families are not engaged in the program, these kids will never get to school on time, will miss classes, and so on. So we, in the process, we do first, they have to turn in all of the documentation. And I was telling just now that this documentation is not turned in online. Why, Amaral? When technology is available, we want to see that people are really interested. We set a date and they have to come manually to school to turn in the documentation. We do an analysis of documentation just so that you have an idea. This year we had close to 3,000 families applying for a scholarship in our school. And we do an analysis of documentation, and all of the kids who are under the requirements given by the school, they are all called for a test of Portuguese, English, and math. And English was our first challenge. How are we going to find kids in higher grades that would speak English? And that immediately made us create a program that we call Bridge Program. So together with some ONGs, we have kids that they have after school in our school English classes so that they can apply to the program in the following year. And then once they pass the exam, we call all of the families to an interview. So our scholarship process starts more or less in April and goes all the way to October, okay? And I'm going to explain a bit how it works here. This is what we are looking for. We are looking for kids who have a financial need, who bring excellence, and families who would value education. Besides that, we understood that the scholarship could not only be the tuition, as I've said. So it comes with a socio-emotional support, it comes with academic support, and it comes with financial support. All of these together integrating family and students. And this is what we had this year at our school. We have 74 kids in our schools. 86% of the 86% is the percentage of the discount that they have. Oh, this is another interesting thing that we understood. In this process of inclusion, the first year we did the best that we could, and then we ended up all of the kids that pay and the kids who do not pay. And the gap between these two was huge. And we said, how can we work with it? Immediately we sat down together and we said, all right, our Escola Eleva scholarship cannot only be 100%. We need to bring kids who are now studying in neighborhoods around Rio that are paying probably 500 reais, 600 reais in a school, but they're not coming from the communities. So these kids are accepted to our school and they keep the same tuition that they pay to the other school. So that's the reason why not every kid is 100% scholarship. We reach around 86. A kid is only considered in Janelas Aberta if they get at least 60% of their tuition, okay, for scholarship. Out of this group, 58% are girls. 50% declare themselves as Black. And this is another interesting thing. We said, oh my God, I have 30% as a goal to have racial diversity at our school. But I cannot have all of this racial diversity coming from scholarship kids, because then I would have two things that I would have to be working with on these kids. Their social and racial diversity. So I immediately said, we need to bring Black kids to our school that could pay the school. And in our edital de matrícula, we say that we give priority to kids who are Black. That, as you can imagine, caused a lot of discomfort, a lot of parents questioning why. Is it quotas? Why are you doing that? We say, no, we believe in diversity. And if we don't do that, we will not reach the diversity that we are looking for. Okay? And then immediately being in Rio, I always joke, I say that living in Rio is like living in Hollywood. As you can imagine, 80% of our Black kids ended up being from actors and actresses that immediately said, oh, this is the school that we want, and engaged in the program. So I'm happy to say that now in our school, Clarissa, how many Black kids do we have? 60? 68 is the number of Black kids that we have in our school. And we are very far from the number that we want to reach, okay? But 50% of the scholarship kids are Black kids. 54% came from public schools, and 13 of them declare that they live in communities. There's a difference. Some of them live in communities, but they don't see as if they live in communities. And we work basically with 4 communities: Rocinha, Vidigal, Córtico Cantagalo, and 2 that are together, that is Babilônia, Chapéu Mangueira, and Babilônia. And how did we do that? We went there. We looked for the leaders of these communities, and we said, we would like to look for kids that could get a scholarship in a new school that we are opening. That's how we did the first year. Second year on, the word was out there, and we start having people coming to us and looking for us. And it's very, very nice nowadays when I go to a PTC, to a parent-teacher conference. I was also telling the group earlier today, and I have in the same parent-teacher conference a mother of a kid and another mother that is an employee in that family. That's how we have now. We have porteiros and people that live in the same building, sharing the same space, participating in our community every day.
Amaral.
Time. I just want to show quickly
Okay.
2 of these kids.
Thank you.
I thought that would be interesting to tell you. This is Davi. As you can see in our process of matrícula of enrollment, he did not do well in English at all. As you can see there, the results. We debated a lot if we would accept him. We decided to give him this opportunity, and you can see his development over the last 2 years that he has been with us. Another very interesting thing is that the overall results of our scholarship kids are much higher than the results of our regular kids. 8.39 is the result of this student, and the class average is 7.6. This is another kid in high school that came to us and had to, for 1 year, use our bridge program. And She was just accepted this last July in a course in Cambridge. Our community sponsored her course in Cambridge. And as you can see also, her performance is much higher than the performance of the other students. I would have much more to tell you, but I know time is an issue. So I will let Clarissa talk a little bit about our pillar of global citizenship and focusing more on the idea of how to have racial diversity. Being bilingual, Clarissa will talk to you in Portuguese.
Boa tarde, gente. Então, vou dar continuidade, vou pedir só para vocês me ajudarem com o tempo, tá? Porque, pelo que eu entendi, a gente acho que já avançou um pouquinho. Tá? Então, eu sou Clarissa, sou professora da Escola Eleva, cheguei lá em 2018, tenho uma trajetória já fora da escola de trabalhar com formação de professor por uma educação antirracista, então a gente acaba que vai costurando esse trabalho, né? E a gente, no pilar da Escola de Cidadania Global, a gente tem um compromisso, né, com uma mudança na sociedade. E a Eleva chegou no Rio de Janeiro já trazendo isso de alguma maneira muito forte, quando começa, né, quando nasce com um programa de bolsa tão agressivo, quando nasce com um olhar para a diversidade na contratação. Então, desde 2017, a escola já apresenta um olhar para a diversidade no nosso corpo docente, né? Então, e a gente agora a gente foi vivendo, na verdade, vivenciando a escola, porque eu acho que tem isso, assim, tem um planejamento, tem uma expectativa, e quando as coisas vão acontecendo, a gente vai refletindo e repensando novas necessidades, outras escolhas. Então, como eu estava dizendo, eu acho que como uma escola que tem isso como pilar, né, de cidadania global, então a redução da desigualdade acaba que é um compromisso que faz com que a gente olhe para questões raciais sem deixar de olhar para outras diversidades. Eu acho que a gente também tem sempre esse cuidado, né, de a gente só olha para esse recorte de diversidade no mundo? Não. Mas essa questão, quando a gente olha para o Brasil, quando a gente pensa a sociedade que foi construída, com toda a trajetória histórica que a gente tem um compromisso de reparação e também, como o Lázaro falou aqui cedo, de uma potência desse grupo da sociedade que, de alguma maneira, foi negligenciado ao longo do tempo. Pensando nisso, a gente tem um plano, né, um plano de ação que a gente foi costurando à medida desses anos de escola, que são 5 áreas que a gente identificou como a maior demanda, né? Então, a gente tem agora uma admissão com a prioridade para a diversidade racial, então, e acho que a gente tem, assim, o Amaral fala um pouco isso, que se sai um aluno negro da escola e um aluno pagante, por exemplo, é o nosso compromisso de repor essa vaga com o mesmo critério, né? Contratação com olhar para representatividade. Então, a gente olha para o corpo docente e pensa, que estratégia a gente vai pensar agora? E acho que é para tudo, né? Tem uma coisa da gente pensar na área de exatas, por exemplo, quantas mulheres a gente tem na área de exatas? Então, a gente busca, de alguma forma, ter uma reflexão bem ampla em relação a isso. O treinamento da equipe no geral, que a gente lança toda a nossa comunidade, eu acho que isso é um diferencial, e isso foi algo que nasceu da nossa demanda de olhar acontecimentos, né, exemplos que a gente vivia durante a escola. Então, se a gente um pai negro que se sente que na hora que chega na escola para buscar o filho, a pessoa da portaria acompanha esse pai, como não acompanha um pai branco, por exemplo. Né? Então, a gente entende que tem um cuidado, tem uma formação dessa equipe, tem uma coisa de autoestima desse grupo, porque senão a gente acaba caindo naquele lugar de dizer, poxa, mas está a pessoa negra sendo racista. Então, a gente tem que entender que a gente tem um compromisso com isso, tem uma formação aí de autoestima que precisa ser tratada de alguma forma. Os nossos eventos, né, a gente tenta ao longo do ano, a gente tem um cuidado de não deixar com que eventos que tragam discussões raciais aconteçam só em novembro. A gente sabe que essa é uma data importante, como a gente tem uma data de celebração, sim, a gente considera essa data, a gente pensa numa semana em que a gente vai colocar luz para essas reflexões, mas, ao mesmo tempo, a gente cuida para que, ao longo do ano, a gente tenha experiências pedagógicas, experiências culturais que, de alguma maneira, venham iluminar, venham trazer a potência desse grupo na sociedade. E a inserção do nosso tema no currículo acadêmico, né, que eu acho que a escola vem olhando para isso desde do início. A gente tem se debruçado muito em pensar a BNCC com a lei 10.639, que é uma lei que já está com 16 anos, e a gente tem um grupo que, às vezes, de educadores que nem conhece essa lei, né? Então, a gente tem se debruçado sobre ela, entendendo o que ela diz, o que ela dá de parâmetro para a nossa construção curricular. Tem algo muito importante. A gente, em 2018, nós recebemos um prêmio por inclusão racial. A gente tinha já, no segundo ano, quando nós ganhamos o prêmio, a escola tinha 42 crianças, né? Se eu não me engano, 42 crianças negras, numa escola que atende uma elite carioca. Isso não é muito. A gente, quando olha o número de alunos, no geral, 42 é muito, sim. E aí a gente, de alguma maneira, falou assim, nossa, uma escola que ganha um prêmio como esse, a gente carrega uma responsabilidade. Então, a gente recebeu esse prêmio com muita alegria, entendendo também que agora a nossa responsabilidade é ainda maior, né? A gente tem que ter uma entrega ainda mais cuidadosa. E acho que a gente eu gosto muito de falar isso sobre a Eleva, que a gente está construindo uma cultura e que tomara que isso se espalhe pelas escolas, né, do mundo, esse olhar, porque se de alguma maneira a gente iniciou uma vida de uma escola tão importante, se propondo a mudar a sociedade, eu acho que a gente está começando muito bem e é ótimo a gente vir participar de uma conversa como essa, com uma outra escola, com um olhar tão bacana em relação a isso. Acho que a Laís vai...
Good afternoon. I'll try to keep up in English, but maybe I'll switch it to Portuguese as it's my comfort zone and I'm talking about inteligência de vida. It's an honor to be here. I was very interested in getting to know the building and you guys. Eu sou psicóloga de formação, tenho uma trajetória longa no terceiro setor, passei 10 anos em ONG aqui em São Paulo, numa instituição que tinha como missão honrar a criança. Então, eu fui uma grande advocate, uma activist for the rights of the children, especially no concern de consumerism. Então, eu tive uma pauta muito grande ligada à questão do consumismo, que de alguma maneira tem a ver com uma questão social muito grande que a gente vive no nosso país. Então, passei uma década conversando com professores ao redor desse país sobre esse tema específico, criança e consumo e sustentabilidade. E aí, num determinado momento, eu falei, eu preciso voltar para o chão da escola. E aí, eu já tinha voltado para o Rio, fui num TED Talk, na casa onde hoje cedia a nossa escola. Me apaixonei primeiro por aquele espaço, não é à toa que eu sou casada com um arquiteto paulistano, os espaços me inspiram, e eu falei, uou, vai ser uma escola, e deixei meu currículo, desavisadamente, tive uma reunião com esse querido Amaral, me apaixonei pelo projeto, principalmente por uma escola que veio trazendo, né, a inteligência de vida e as habilidades socioemocionais como um pilar, porque, de fato, I believe que a aprendizagem só existe com o afeto, que o afeto é a cola da aprendizagem. Então, eu estou aí, junto ao Amaral e todo o nosso time, advogando pela inclusão e pela diversidade, desde que essa escola, em 2016, começou a ser pensada e idealizada para que a gente conseguisse, de alguma maneira, trazer a diversidade social e que essas crianças e esses adolescentes, que a gente tem a pretensão que eles sejam líderes e advocates for themselves and for a better world, que eles conseguissem, de alguma maneira, encontrar essa diversidade nesse primeiro espaço que é a escola, de convivência e de relacionamento. Eu tenho uma premissa que é que a escola é o espaço da aprendizagem dos conteúdos, mas mais do que isso, é o espaço do conflito. E eu enxergo o conflito, né, pela minha formação em psicologia, de uma maneira muito positiva. Eu acho que é no conflito que a gente cresce, é na dor que a gente aprende. Então, é lindo ver no nosso dia a dia, né, crianças de todas as cores, de todas as maneiras representadas. Não é uma tarefa fácil, é quixotesco, mas é gratificante. E eu atuo nesse tripé que é a escola, o aluno e a família, cuidando do bem-estar e zelando pelo esse bem-estar e por essa integridade física e emocional de todos esses que compõem a nossa comunidade. E aí, olhando para essa construção de comunidade, né, o departamento de Learning Support, que é composto por psicólogos, psicopedagogos, mediadores, tem como braço direito, que não é só um pilar da escola, mas é um currículo, que é o Laboratório de Inteligência de Vida, que começa desde o infantil até o high school, que vai trabalhar nos nossos alunos essas habilidades imprescindíveis para esses cidadãos do século XXI, que são a autorregulação, o autoconhecimento, a empatia e o relacionamento. Além, da colaboração, da perseverança, da comunicação. E como que a gente consegue, de alguma maneira, né, inserir essas habilidades no nosso dia a dia e fazer com que esses relacionamentos e esses conflitos que acontecem no chão da escola sejam vistos como beleza e grandeza de mundo e formação para um exercício cívico futuro, e não só como uma coisa que a gente vai lidar ali, um fogo que a gente vai apagar. E como o Amaral diz desde a nossa primeira entrevista, e eu vou plagiar porque eu adoro essa fala dele, we have teachable moments every day around the school. E nós todos estamos formando esses cidadãos. Então, é claro que eu tenho um papel importante, zelando aí pelo socioemocional, mas todos vocês têm. Então, os conflitos acontecem dentro da sala de aula, no pátio, no PI, e é aí que a gente tem que, de alguma maneira, respirar e relembrar o porquê da nossa escolha de estar dentro da escola. Não é porque a gente vai ser rico, porque a gente estaria em outros lugares, talvez no mercado financeiro. A gente está aqui porque a gente tem um propósito em comum, que eu acho que é a transformação, né, pela educação. E isso é feito, eu acredito, com algumas palavras que têm a ver com essas, mas que eu vou falar de uma outra maneira, que são belonging, pertencimento, support, o afeto. E o Lázaro disse que é uma palavra que ele ama e que já está gasta, e eu não acho que está gasta, então eu vou repetir, que é empathy. E a gente tem que trabalhar com essas palavras no nosso dia a dia, e principalmente dentro do counseling e no programa de bolsas. E aí me veio uma pergunta, eu já posso falar sobre a pergunta? Que era sobre de que maneira o counseling do Scholarship Program se diferencia do counseling whole school. E aí tem uma diferença muito... E por que que a gente fez uma decisão institucional, como o Amaral falou, de ter uma equipe de counselors que estão apoiando e acolhendo as famílias, além dos counselors dos segmentos, né? Tem uma interseção de trabalho aí, mas tem um grupo que acompanha essas famílias desde o processo de seleção, onde o vínculo começa a ser construído. E tem um diferencial, sim, porque essas famílias, elas têm desafios desses conflitos que vão acontecer, inerentes ao universo escolar, que são diferentes das outras famílias. Então, tem uma palavra, outra para a gente somar aí essas que eu falei, que é a resiliência, que o grupo de psicólogos do programa de bolsas tem trabalhado e se debruçado sobre esse tema, que ela está sendo observada desde o processo de seleção nessas famílias, porque eles vão ter que lidar com uma dor, né, como a Clarice falou, de às vezes ser acompanhados pelo segurança da escola, que tem a mesma cor que eles, porque a nossa sociedade ainda não mudou. ou que aquela criança que vai ter todo o apoio e o recurso financeiro que a escola e as famílias estão ajudando para fazer aquela viagem, mas talvez ela não vai ter a mesma vestimenta, ela vai dividir o quarto e o necessaire dela não vai contemplar as mesmas coisas que o do colega e do roommate, e ela vai sofrer com isso também. Então tem um acompanhamento que tem uma... Sim, ele namora com a assistência social sem ser assistencialista de forma alguma. Mas a gente tem que criar uma rede de apoio que é ampliada para essas famílias, que passam desde profissionais, que porventura a gente possa ter que trabalhar em parceria. Então, a gente fez parcerias com a Rede DOR, que é uma rede de hospitais e de testagem de crianças no Rio, que atendem as nossas crianças e adolescentes do programa gratuitamente. A gente criou grupos operativos para essas famílias, que são rodas de conversas. They share experience and they bring tasks that are going on in school or in their lives. E nessa rede que passou a ser, além de presencial, virtual, eles trocam desde coisas que para eles fazem, tem uma importância gigante, como vaga de emprego, promoções em supermercados. Então, eu só estou dando exemplos para vocês perceberem como tem uma diferença. E o counseling vai trabalhar de alguma maneira em parceria com as psicólogas do Scholarship Program, o counseling do segmento. E a gente atende e acolhe esses alunos e essas famílias durante todo o percurso deles na escola. Estou me estendendo? Posso? Estou, né? Eu acho que agora, não, tudo bem, a gente pode deixar para as... Vou deixar mais para as perguntas, mas eu acho que a gente tem, de alguma maneira, desde que a escola estava, né, no rascunho, essa intenção que passou a ser uma ação efetiva, que é construir uma comunidade diversa e representativa da nossa sociedade. É um desafio gigante. A gente lida com conflitos todos os dias, mas eu acho que é isso que move essa equipe. Então, é um prazer compartilhar com vocês essa experiência. A gente quer, de fato, inspirar outras escolas para que a gente consiga fazer essa transformação. Eu queria só falar mais de uma inclusão que tem a ver com a inclusão racial e social, que é a inclusão digital, que é um outro desafio, né? Então, as nossas psicólogas do programa de bolsas fazem um acompanhamento até para essas famílias ingressarem nesse universo digital, que é por onde vai acontecer a comunicação dessa escola. Essas famílias muitas vezes não tinham nenhuma conta de e-mail, e aí tem comunicados que têm que ser específicos para as famílias, e eles usavam a conta dos filhos, só que os filhos não poderiam saber, por exemplo, de um comunicado antes das famílias. Então, tem todo esse suporte para a criação de conta de e-mail, para acompanhar, para entender o inglês, os aplicativos que a gente usa na escola. Então, assim, é um mundo gigante. Estarei aqui para responder mais perguntas. Parabéns pelo trabalho que vocês estão fazendo, que é lindo demais, e que a gente possa fazer cada vez mais coisas juntas para transformar aí esse país com essas crianças maravilhosas. Obrigada.
So we're going straight to questions. This is just a reminder of inputting your questions if you have any. If you're writing them down, make sure that you put them on the link, the QR code that you scanned in the beginning of this presentation. We will be reading them and selecting the ones, hopefully we'll have time for them. My first question would be for... Okay. So I would like to address the first question to Clarissa, actually. So we have lots of teachers here who have already started the process of thinking of how am I dealing with race in the classroom? What do I do if something happens? So I'm going to say the question in Portuguese and in English, okay? So how do you deal with racism when it comes up inside the classroom? And are there any sanctions in place if this happens, okay? Então, como você lida com racismo na sala de aula, né? Tem medida que a escola já está pronta?
Tem. Na verdade, eu estou aqui pela psicologia, mas a gente tem um olhar muito claro sobre o racismo na sala de aula, que é o nosso compromisso enquanto escola é formar essas crianças. Então, eu gosto de um exemplo maravilhoso que é quando uma criança muito pequena pega de algum amigo um brinquedo e leva para casa. A gente se preocupa porque essa criança não pode crescer entendendo que eu olhei para alguma coisa, eu gostei, vou lá e pego. Na vida adulta, isso tem um código, isso tem um nome. Quando a gente vive alguma questão envolvendo uma agressão racial, por exemplo, a gente cuida da mesma maneira. Isso tem um código. A gente pode deixar uma criança crescer entendendo que a característica a cor da pele de alguém vai determinar, por exemplo, se eu quero ofender alguém, eu vou olhar para um traço e vou usar isso para ofender. Então, a nossa reflexão parte daí. E aí a gente tem algumas tomadas de decisões assim bem específicas, que é conversa com a família da criança que, de alguma maneira, usou um termo racista ou foi agressivo. Então, a gente entra em contato, né? A liderança direta do segmento faz esse contato com a família. A gente acolhe essa criança que recebeu essa agressão e se sentiu, de alguma maneira, ofendida, ou quando a criança até mesmo não entende, porque a gente tem que pensar que algumas crianças negras, por exemplo, que a gente tem, elas não entendem ainda, elas ainda não têm uma identidade racial. Ela nem sabe que a cor da pele dela na sociedade ainda é vista dessa forma. Então, a gente tem esse cuidado. Uma receita pronta a gente não tem, né? A gente vai vivendo, vai refletindo, e a partir de cada episódio a gente vai tentando, de alguma maneira, buscar o melhor caminho para isso. Mas eu acho que tem um ponto que é esse. O olhar que a gente tem, a escola olha dessa maneira. Temos um compromisso com a formação social dessa criança.
Trazendo uma questão religiosa que eu pude viver, esses teachable moments. Crianças, eles eram second graders, e eu entrei para assistir uma aula, era uma roda de conversa, e aí estava se falando sobre religião, e uma amiga, quando a outra falou, eu sou judia, virou para ela e falou, eu não gosto de judeu. E aí deu-se aquele silêncio, a professora ficou perdida, aproveitou que eu estava ali, olhou para mim e falou, me salva, né? E aí é um clichê verdadeiro, eu acho que assim, a escuta e o diálogo ainda transformam. Então, eu trouxe aquelas crianças, tirei um pouquinho elas do foco ali da atenção e perguntei, por que que você está dizendo que não gosta de judeu? Eles tinham 7 para 8 anos. E ela falou, porque judeu não acredita em Deus e o Deus protege a gente. Aí eu olhei para outra e falei, é assim? Você quer, né, ajudar a sua amiga a entender mais sobre a sua religião? E ela explicou, né, sobre como que deuses e que maneira o judaísmo entendia. E ela falou, então eu estava errada, né? A pequenininha, desculpa. Então, assim, muitas vezes a gente tem que fazer com que eles possam elaborar um pouco mais. Eu trouxe uma outra situação que não era uma agressão verbal propriamente dita, né? Eram crianças menores, falava sobre um desconhecimento. Mas eu acho que quando a gente dá a chance de colocar esses dois em contato, né? Aí vem a empatia do que doeu no outro, né? E de como que eu me sentiria se eu tivesse ouvido aquilo, também é algo que transforma e a gente pode trabalhar junto.
Posso dar só mais um exemplo
Claro.
rápido? Ontem, eu e Clarice, eu cheguei na escola às 8 horas da manhã. Okay, so I'll speak in English. Yesterday, I arrived around 8 o'clock in the school, and Clarissa was talking to Lázaro and Thais that were here today. And Thais looked at me and said, Amaral, I'll tell you something. I just told my kid at home to punch a boy in class. So if that happens, I was the one who told her. And I said, Thais, why? Why? What happened? Tell me the story. And she said, no, because my kid came home and said that every time that she unties her hair, this boy starts making fun of her. That says that her hair is different from the hair of other kids. And she came home and she asked if she was ugly. And I had to explain that are different beauties, and that while most of the people in her class, their hair grows going down, hair grows going up. It's just a different approach. But I was so mad when I was explaining it to her that she immediately said, Mom, calm down. I have many other friends that they don't laugh at me. It's just him. So it is a learning opportunity for everyone. And the moment that you sit down with that kid and you explain that, things change. And in the same classroom, just 2 weeks before that, the principal of early school sent me a picture because they asked the kids to draw their friends. And almost in every single drawing, there was a black kid. And it's huge. It's huge. Just to look at that, to see that they are recognizing the differences in the classroom, it is huge. So I would say don't be afraid of talking. Goes back to what Lais said, teachable moments. They are more important than your lesson plan. Throw your lesson plan in the garbage. Use these teachable moments to talk.
Thank you. I'm just going to quickly summarize what Clarice and Laís said, and I'll make sure to give more details for whoever's interested later. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just going to try to be super quick. So connecting to teachable moments, you would deal with racism the same way that you deal with the boy that takes a toy home when he's not supposed to from a friend, right? So there are codes that say that this is not allowed, and it's the same kind of reflection, right? There is a procedure of talking to the family, right, from the leadership department, and there's also a work about the comforting the people, the students that were offended, that were the victims in that situation. There's also an initiative from their part to make students understand that sometimes they cannot name the feelings and the fact that they don't understand that the fact that they are black, right? This happens because of the color of their skin. So there's a support for the student side and also a talk with the family. Unfortunately, there's not a cookie cutter version, a cookie cutter recipe that we can just have and implement in the school when this happens, right? And Laís also talked about how she was part of a teachable moment in a classroom, and a kid said to another, "I don't like Jews," and the teacher just looked at her and just said, "Well, save me." And she probed the student to ask why she didn't like Jews, and the answer was, Jews don't believe in God and God protects everyone. So that was the beginning of a great conversation because it's coming from a place of not understanding and not knowing beliefs, right? So again, another great teachable moment. I'm sorry if I butchered your speech. Okay.
So we'll bring now a question from our audience. Any of you can choose to respond. And the question is, what clashes with parents have been faced about this issue?
Well, I think I'll...
This is for you, Amaral.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that. Well, first thing that I have to say is that it's not easy, okay? Because you are educating a society. You're not only educating students. To tell you the truth, the students are the easiest, okay? That is the easiest part of the entire process. But as I said, it's a decision that you as a school have to make. And I will also illustrate with another story. The other day I came to school, not the other day, beginning of this year, and the parent, we had a whole bunch of activities in our school to include scholarship kids, to include black kids. It's part of who we are. And one day I came to school and a parent grabbed me quite strongly through the arm and said, I want to understand why you care so much about minorities. You're not black, or are you some kind of minority that I do not know? And I was not going to go into that with them, because I said, you know, if you really want to talk about me being a minority, we can go into my office and we can talk more about that. But let me just remind you that anyone who pays 5,000 reais for a school is the minority of a minority in our country, and we have to deal with it. But it's not easy. That parent left the school, said that, and it's it's so crazy because the same parent came to me and said, I enrolled my kid in this school to be a Jorge Paulo Landman, and I'm afraid my kid would leave here being a Marielle. And that's not the school that I'm looking for. And I said, great, it's okay, we have all kinds of school. But we do face challenges. But what we need to do is be strong in what we believe and respond for what we are doing.
We're going to continue asking you a question, Amaral.
Okay.
If you were to start the diversity process over, what would you do differently?
Well, I learned a lot from the process. First of all, I would say that from day one, I would focus more and more on the development of my team in all of the areas that involve racial diversity in our school. We did a lot of work with the idea of not only having, as I said, Black kids that were part of our scholarship program, but then after 6 months or 8 months of school, I realized that most of the Black kids that were paying the school, they were Black kids of white parents, 90% of them. They were adopted kids. And we also realized that many of these kids came with issues that we were not prepared to deal with. I started the school with a student support team of 3 people. Now I have over 20 people helping me. People that have to mediate, to be the support that these kids would need for the time that they were in institutions that did not help their development, social, emotional, or even cognitive. So these are kids that need extra support, that needs extra help. Doesn't matter if they're coming from families that can afford the school. So I would say that I would have started more prepared if I knew the challenges that I would have. I still have a feeling that some of the kids the first year at our school, I did not meet their needs as I should have. So that's how I would start differently, with more support.
Well, now we have a bunch of questions coming in. So I will pause so I can choose one. Let me see. I'll read in Portuguese because this is in Portuguese. Qual formação de professores para lidar com a diversidade sob a perspectiva da inclusão? Quão explícito isso está no currículo? Os professores que decidem esse currículo ou ele é mais unificado?
Na verdade, a gente tem uma construção, né? Quando a gente trata dessas questões, a gente tem uma liderança ao olhar para o currículo. E quando eu falei da gente se debruçar sobre a lei, sobre as implicações que isso se dá, a gente tem uma construção que é assim coletiva quando a gente trata de questões pedagógicas, né? Então a gente está ali alimentando, refletindo, mudando, pensando qual a melhor abordagem desse tema naquela série. E quando a gente lida com essas questões, agora envolvendo muito mais o que está na relação, o racismo em si na sociedade, a gente tá criando essa cultura, né? Então, a gente está num processo de formação desses parâmetros de alguma forma, mas a gente já tem sim algumas coisas que são estabelecidas enquanto equipe. Então, é muito claro para a gente, por exemplo, a questão de linguagem, né, que a gente sabe que o racismo se dá de uma maneira muito forte a partir de alguns termos, de algumas palavras. Então, isso já é muito, isso é construído na comunidade escolar num todo. Então, acho que qualquer professor que escute determinada frase, determinado termo como neguinha, porque fulana é mais escurinha. Então, esses termos, mulata. Então, esses termos, né, o que passa pela linguagem, isso já está de alguma forma incorporado na cultura da gente, na mesma hora criar algum meio de intervenção.
E vou só continuar um pouco em português, porque a gente está falando da língua portuguesa e tem outros casos que não são tão óbvios, né? Então, a fase negra da história, denegrir, judiar, né? O próprio Lázaro, como eu falei, ensina muito. Outro dia ele foi para uma apresentação e disse: as pessoas falavam o tempo inteiro porque os escravos, e está assumindo que todo escravo é negro, existia escravo branco. Então, tem que falar dos negros escravizados e não usar a palavra escravo ligando ao negro. Então, o aprendizado é para todos o tempo inteiro.
A brief summary. This is a construction that is taken as a collective, right? So everyone is learning all the time, and they're in the process of designing the parameters and the measures, but there are things in place for them, and their focus right now is on language, right? So every teacher would be able to identify terms and words that are already embedded in how we express ourselves, but they're not really capturing diversity. So they talked about defining how do we call the color of the skin, and even Amaral said there's a lot of mentioning to slaves and slaves and slaves, and instead of saying slaves, Black people, African tribes that were enslaved, right? So these are the things that are already in here and we don't even realize, but now we're ready to point it out and learn from every time we hear it, because it's now becoming more uncomfortable.
And of course, the selection of books that we do for the library, we use readers and writers workshops. So what are the kind of books that we have in the classroom? All of that, we need to have a clinical eye to make sure that we have a variety of things in there.
It was collaborative. When we were building o acervo, né, how do we say this in English? The collection. We heard the teachers, what have they been reading, what was that book that moved themselves when they were kids. So it was a very nice and an interesting way to build a collection for the library. And including Black authors was one of our goals also. So.
Tem uma coisa que é muito importante em relação a isso, é que a gente tem já também instaurado na gente são as representações estéticas, né? A gente tem um cuidado enorme das representações de imagem que circulam pelas crianças, desde artistas, quando tem um projeto no infantil que vai falar de arte. Então, a gente tem um cuidado, de alguma maneira, de trazer esse referencial. Então, as representações estéticas na escola são muito bem cuidadas em relação a isso. Até quando os meninos estudam ao longo do Fundamental 1 e 2, o processo de escravização, a gente tem todo um cuidado com a forma com que essas figuras vão aparecer.
So this last bit related to aesthetics and how you are representing Black people and Black history, right? So there's a curation. There is they are very careful in selecting how, for example, when they're studying the slave period, how they're going to be depicted, right? So there's a matter of representation and visibility that is carefully thought of.
Yeah, that's very important, that you don't only have dolls that are white dolls. Another thing, now going back a little bit to the scholarship kid, again, it's all how the school deal with things. Last year I said, okay, I'm having a whole bunch of kids here that are coming from communities, that are coming from public scholarships, but how can I build a sense of belonging to these kids? And one of the things that I did was I reached a director of a public school in Rio that is a reference. And I talked to him and I saw all of the great work that he was doing. And I said, can you come at the beginning of the year and do the training of my teachers? I wanted him to be a representation of someone who is doing a good work at a public school that would be the one working with the school that is considered now maybe one of the top schools in Rio. We have a lot to learn from a public school. So these things are also very important if you're dealing with representation in your school.
So we have one more question. What are the resource structures that your school has in place in order to take care of your Black faculty, who are also a minority within their workplace?
First, we have a wellness coordinator in our school that deals with the wellness of our team, of our kids, of our families, and more than anything, the wellness of our institution. Because if the institution is sick, everyone gets sick, right? And I would say by coincidence, but not really, she is also Black. And she has a good eye for all of that. How are we bringing representation in everything that we do? The place that we choose, the activities that we do. So I would say after 3 years, I feel that it's part of who we are. So in everything that we do every day, we are looking at this as an issue. And now we are bringing it to our administration team in the hiring process. It is difficult when you say, yes, I have maybe 10 CVs of white teachers for a position, and I only have 2 of Black people for that position, but I'm going to give the preference to those 2 Black because I need to. It's not that I'm going to hire someone that it's not good for that position, but if that's the situation for that moment in that area, I need to focus on this.
One last story that has to do with the social inclusion. One of our scholarship kids lost his shoe. And it was like a crazy thing because nobody could find it. All the people around the school were looking for it, and our elementary coordinator, which is a big heart, like a big mama for everybody, she said, okay, tomorrow I'll bring him a new shoe. And then the scholarship counselor said, come on, let's reflect on that. Did he come without shoe today? No, but he lost his shoe. I'm going to give him a brand new one. She wanted him just to feel that he belonged and then cared. But then we said, would you buy it for another kid? Because other kids lose toys and sweaters. Then she said, no. So we need to think about it. And said, oh, I'm doing everything wrong with the best intention. She said, yes. So this is our day-to-day. Things don't come easily. And we need to stop and think and rethink, although we are still 3 years old, but we still have to reflect on the quite small lifetime that we have with our procedures and our protocols and how we're dealing with inclusion, social, emotional, and all kinds of diversity that we have at school. It's not easy, but it's beautiful.
I'll tell you one last story. As Clarissa was saying, two years ago, no, last year, I got this prize from IDBR, that is an NGO that deals with racial inclusion, diversity, and so on. And the day that I came to Sao Paulo for a meeting with the organization, I was the one who was going to get that prize. I got a call from the president of the NGO, Luana, and she said, Amaral, we won't believe something just happened at your school. And I said, what happened, Luana? She said, by mistake, I sent 2 people from an NGO to your school to participate in the Janelas Abertas gathering that had happened a month before. So she sent on the same day, but 1 month later. And they got to school and they asked to talk to me. And of course, I was not there. I was here in Sao Paulo. And the moment that they got to the main gate, 2 women, both of them black, my porteiro, the front guard, walked them to the reception, which is not what we usually do, but he felt that he had to follow the 2 of them to the reception. When they got to the front desk, my receptionist, who is also black, said, no, Amaral is not here today. So why, but I have a meeting with him here today. No, he's not here. So no, can you call him? No, I will not call him. And they said, okay, so can I wait here while I call an Uber? And she said, no, the guards will walk you to wait outside the gate. And she called me. The 2 of them felt very uncomfortable. It was clear, it clearly had to do with the color of their skin. I panicked. I called the 2 people involved. They said, no, absolutely not. And I said, why wouldn't you do this with a white person? And we had a long conversation in my office the moment that I returned to the school. The next day, the 2 of them were in my school talking to my entire support team. We said, we need to sit together and face that as a team. So we train the entire school, even our terceirizados. Clarissa is part of the team that do the formação de diversidade racial, and we talk about it at least once a month with the entire school. Okay, so it is important that everybody is on board, because the kind of prejudice that we have as a country is so into us that we don't even recognize. Okay.
Thank you. So I'll bring our last question because our time is running out. So after all the work you have done until now, can you already see authentic acts of kindness and inclusion among your students regarding racial issues?
Say it again, sorry, I missed it.
After all the work you have done until now, can you already see authentic acts of kindness and inclusion among your students regarding racial issues?
Oh yeah, I think I gave at least 2 examples here. One, the one of the drawing, I have the picture here on my cell phone, is one of the pictures that I kept with me the entire time. When they recognize different colors in the school, it's a huge one. Another one is, the other day I was talking to a kid, and I don't know why, we were having a conversation, and I said, how many black kids do you have in your class? It was because of this whole month of November diversity, and she looked at me, she's a 3rd grader, and she said, I don't know. And I said, why you say that you don't know? She said, I never stopped to think of it. You know, so it's there. It's part of who we are. I don't see anymore in our material, in our presentations, in our, that we have this diversity, because we see there every day. And this is fantastic. And if a kid can go home, as I said, and say, hey, mom, I realized today that not everyone that lives in community is a thief, a burglar, because I have a friend of mine that lives in community and it's not one. And the challenge would come. The other day, a mother came to me and said, Amaral, what will I do when the kid that lives in Rocinha wants to celebrate his birthday and invite my kids to go there? I said, I don't know. We're going to talk about it together. I don't know. You're going to have to call that mother. And as a mother talking to another mother, you're going to say, this is how I feel. Help me. Let's think of it together. You know, so don't expect to have all of the answers before you start. You won't. And that's the beauty of it. Okay, we'll find the answers together.
Okay, so, claro.
Porque a gente acaba muitas vezes falando das coisas ruins, né, desse processo. E tem uma coisa, a gente tem assim alguns episódios muito positivos da importância da representação. Acho que a gente falou aqui de algo de bondade, mas a gente tem, eu tenho dois relatos da figura, o referencial do educador negro para uma outra criança, né? Uma vez eu estava andando pelo corredor e aí um menino que não é meu aluno, mais novo, um aluno de primeiro ano, ele passava todo dia na porta da minha sala e ficava me olhando. Aí um dia ele me mandou um beijo e falou assim: eu acho que você parece uma bailarina, porque você é linda e parece comigo. Então, assim, é a importância de uma figura que é igual a ele. Assim como uma aluna que a gente teve no quarto ano, que é uma aluna, era a única menina negra da turma, e no primeiro dia de aula a gente conversou muito, eu contei uma história, e ela ficava me olhando, e aí depois a mãe dela disse que ela chegou em casa, emocionadíssima, e falou assim: mãe, você não vai acreditar. A minha professora é preta igual a gente. E eu acho que é isso, né? Assim, da gente ter essas boas experiências também como referencial para os outros lugares que estão repensando essa demanda aí social.
O impacto que isso tem na comunidade. Sabe aquele grupo de WhatsApp, the WhatsApp group that we are all afraid of? Even in there, it has a huge impact. Nowadays, when my parents decide that they are going to buy a gift for a teacher, they don't talk about buying a gift anymore because they know that in their WhatsApp group, there'll be scholarship kids. The reaction is, how can we make something for that teacher? It's now almost the end of the year, and it's the time that we all get really, really emotional because the kind of things that they do, it became like a big thing in our school that the kids, they get together and they record videos thanking the teachers for the work that they've done. And it means much more than buying a nice gift. When Easter comes, they don't buy chocolate to the teachers because they know that they would have in their group a kid that cannot afford that. They get together on a Sunday afternoon and they make cookies, all of the kids from the same class. When a group is going to travel on the weekend to go somewhere, before organizing everything, the mothers get together and say, okay, we have 2 scholarship families in our class. Can we cover for the cost of these families? Yes. So they would all go together. So that goes to the community, and that's the beauty of it.
And this year, my daughter's room, the hotel that we were going covered the scholarship room. So we didn't even have to share it with the families. We called and said, oh, we're a group of 20 families, but we have to share one. They said, no, this is with us. Just bring them. So it was great. So we are planting the seeds all around.
So just going back to what Clarissa said, it's important to have representation of Black faculty and Black educators. And she shared 2 very beautiful stories that speak very dearly to me, I can relate, of a student coming and going to her office or her room and just staring at her. And after some time, he or she, I don't remember, said, I think it's a she, right? So she said, you look like a ballerina because you're very pretty and you look like me. And the second story, the same case, a student just staring at her and just going back very excited to his house or her house, right? His or her, I'm sorry. And just saying, you were not going to believe my teacher is Black like I am. So he or she, I'm so sorry. They were very excited to understand that they are the same, right? They could see joy in identifying each other as Black. And with that, I'm going to thank you all for coming here. I can only speak for myself, but my heart is full. My head is busy. I have so many ideas and thoughts. I cannot wait to debrief this with the entire school. I thank you so much for coming here and sharing your time with us. This has been tremendous for us, and we hope to continue the conversation and sharing success stories. Thank you so much.